Joining us, I'd like to welcome Nan Hall, whose website is sportswidow.com, and she's going to be joining us weekly, which is so exciting because we're going to find out how do we deal with a partner who always has the remote, and we never get to watch the shows we want to watch. So good morning, Nan.
Good morning. Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here.
Well, this is just so much fun because we got to figure out how to do this because it's just getting ridiculous. There are sports on 24 hours a day. I mean, there is. There's always something on.
Thanks, ESPN.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
So really, if you're married to someone, and then sometimes it can be the woman, not necessarily always the man, that all they want to do is watch sports, your life becomes somewhat boring. So tell us first about your website. That's going to be really important. Let's talk about sportswidow.com.
Let me tell you a little bit about that. I think it helps for you to know something about my credentials as a sports widow also.
Yes.
I think, why would I be an expert on this over anybody else? And I was raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin among cheeseheads, just pretty much repressed by cheeseheads, so they're Packer fans. I was a very unathletic youth, and I've been married for almost 20 years to an avid sports fan who'd probably watch Parcheesi if it was televised. and now I'm raising a son, an 11-year-old son, who is following in his father's footsteps.
Of course.
I started realizing that the walls were pretty much closing in on me, and I had to do something about it. It's either fight or flight. So sportswidow.com became my antidote to it. I realized, first of all, that I'm not alone and that there are probably 80 million fans in this country. So if you cut that in half, conservatively, about 40 million of them probably have someone just like me who's been sidelined by sports.
Those numbers are astronomical. I did not realize that. Those numbers are huge.
They are huge. And, of course, it is predominantly a male audience. I'm not saying that there aren't a lot of women sports fans out there, and I don't want to insult them, but it's predominantly a male audience. So what I founded sportswidow.com because I wanted to, first of all, look for the humor, because I think that if we don't find the humor, we'll never get anywhere. That's a survival skill. So sportswidow.com has my blog, kind of my weekly experiences. I try to have tips. Sometimes I put entertainment ideas and cooking ideas into the website. If there's a film coming out, I'll do a review of a film that may actually have some merit for both the sports widow and the fans. So it's that kind of website. And what I really hope comes out of it more than anything is that I want teammates. I really want to hear from other sports widows all over the country. I want to hear their stories because it's a portal into the male-female relationship. And that's what I think is probably the most interesting part of it, is that relationship just opens up this whole world of entertainment. So I hope to entertain and inform and also inspire people and empower them and give them choices about what they can do in response to their fans' habits.
Okay, so as we mentioned, you're going to be a contributor every Friday. So give us a little snippet of what we're going to receive on Fridays.
Well, and I think part of it we'll want you to go to chatwithwomen.com and let Pam and Rochelle know, as my hosts, what you'd like to hear. But I think that what would be best is I'd like to give you a little feature every week, something that has been in my experience or something that occurred to me. Also, I'm interested in giving you some survival tips.
Oh, that's what we need. We need those survival tips.
I think is
really
huge. Yeah, and part of that survival tip to me is being able to plan. I think knowledge is power, and if you have sort of a sports widow advisory every Friday and you know what to expect for the next few days, you can start planning your life a little bit around that. And then I'm also considering giving you a little bit of watercolor news you can use, maybe 3 things that you would want to know just to not be humiliated when you're at work talking to sports fans. We'll be interested in getting your feedback about that.
It's really interesting. Women or men, mostly men, what they talk about at work is what happens in sports. And they feel like they have to watch it because then they have to be part of the, gang in the morning when they come to work. Well, but women, we're like, we don't have anything to say, so we're always the outsider.
Well, the guys don't care about what we went shopping for.
No, they don't. And so if we do know something about what happened that weekend, we can join in. Some team won or some big thing happened. I couldn't even tell you what happened. I think about like the World Series we were talking in the green room. I don't care. Who are they? I mean, I didn't watch it. I don't care.
Right, you don't
doesn't
care,
matter to me.
and yet it has such an extraordinary impact on your day-to-day life.
Oh, it absolutely does. I mean, what does it start 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and they have to rush home so they get in front of that television, and then your night's gone.
Exactly, and one of the things, if you went to my website today, if you went to sportswidow.com, I did something in the spirit of Halloween. I wrote a little blog about the 13 horrifying habits of sports fans. And I'm really interested in hearing what some of the additions to that list might be from your listeners. And just to give you a little example, one of them is their idea of intimacy is watching SportsCenter in the bedroom while you wear a sleep mask and earplugs.
That's so true. That's really cute.
So, and another one of my horrifying habits of sports fans is that they can tell you how many touchdowns Brett Favre made in 1988, but they can't remember your anniversary.
Oh, that's...
It was 75, I think.
Oh, exactly.
3,462 yards, I think.
I want to know who Brett Favre is. Yeah.
Well, he was with the Pack, now he's with the Jets.
Is that right?
This is really
Isn't
important,
the
man.
Jets in West
New York.
in that movie? The
Oh,
Jets
there's
and the...
there's something about Mary. They mentioned Brett Favre,
Brett
and no
Favre's
one
in
can
that.
ever pronounce his name.
Favre.
Yeah, Favre, you know.
Well, I think this is really important because this is what's going on in everyone's home day after day after day after day. And women don't really know what to do. And a lot of times they hold it in and they get very sort of nasty. You know, and they get mad at their husbands and they sort of, it causes all kinds of friction. So to be able to have some tips and laugh, I think. And then they can even come home and say to their husband, did you know, this is what I heard on Chat with Women this morning. And then maybe they can laugh together.
Yeah,
Right.
they'll be able to be stumped.
Yeah.
I love that. It's our turn, ladies. Let's
It is.
unite and let's stump them.
Yes.
They're really good.
Well, and I want to give them good advice because one time I tried to play with the boys, basically, and I told my husband I'd been studying the Green Bay Packers and their history. And I said, I've been looking at the Guy Lombardo years, I've been looking at the Vince Lombardi years.
There, see?
I was going to correct you, too, but I was going to let her do it. I don't know.
Vince Lombardo.
Said,
Vince
yeah.
Lombardo.
Yeah, and anyway, I got into horrible trouble because it was Vince Lombardo who was their coach, and of course
Lombardi.
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 I was going to say, I think it's
We wanted to introduce to you Nan Hall, sports widow.
That's an example.
This is just some of the fun you're going to have. So remember to join us every Friday where Nan Hall is going to come back. We're going to do a regular sequence with her. And again, it's sportswidow.com, but you'll be able to hear it on Chat with Women. So thank you, Nan, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to find out how do we put on a perfect party with Viva Productions. This is Chat with Women. We'll be right back.